Nerd Soul.
Lay ill kid at OneYoungsta, hold it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. Look, like, comment, subscribe. Let's go because we have an amazing guest. Well, not really a guest, kind of like almost like a house DJ at this point. But I mean, he's here a lot. But give a shout out. Put your hands together. Standing ovation for the cinematic sorcerer Solar Grade. What's up?
Hey, what is going on? This is Solar Grade, the Cinematic Sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower with my boy NERDSoul. And before I get started, I got to give a shout out to the major VIP subscribers, man. Folks like Andre Atkins and Jason Weiss and Quinn McGowan. And man, I'm seriously, man, that's the people that are out there. They in the know. They know they got all that soul. They got enough nerd soul to sell some of their nerd soul and still have a whole bunch of nerd soul left. They can be deconsecrated and their soul would still be nerd.
Not yeah. I guess, all right. Okay, I want to start this episode off by saying this episode might have my favorite line reading of the year.
I think I know I have an idea of which one it is, but I'll let you cook.
There's a demon in that hole. I think it has our relic, and I need to use you as bait.
Oh, okay. You know what?
I was like, what? And the seriousness upon Sister Andrea's face. Man, like this episode actually has two dope lines from her, but that was the one that made me laugh. But see, yes, this one has another line from her where, bull, I'm sure you'll get into that later, but that was my favorite. I'll probably say that's my favorite. Sister Andrea finding the demon, torturing them with
I was about to say, bro, like
materials. She snapped the cleaning gloves.
Bro,
I was like, this girl,
since we are opening on Our Lady of the Sacred Garden Tool, Sister Andrea from West Side, because bruh,
Sister Andrea is, you know what? Let's just talk about Sister Andrea for a minute. Go ahead. She's awesome.
Bruh, she should be the patron saint of every gangsta out there. Yo. Okay, because what did she do? That demon climbed through that hole, and the first thing she did was pin it in a place like, okay, now we gonna talk. And I'm like, hold up. So, where's the relic? I don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of us down there. Torture thing. So where's it at? I mean, seriously. Take that whole scene. Just take that whole scene. Take it off, okay? Take it out. Take every line that's there, except replace relic with stuff, or the not safe for work version of stuff.
Yeah.
And instead of imagining Sister Andrea saying it to a demon, okay? Imagine just saying Lawrence Fishburne saying that to Terrence Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Or Denzel Washington saying that to anybody.
Yeah, that scene was awesome. Like, Sister Andrea was awesome in this. Then seeing that Sister Andrea has moves, like, because usually we see her beating down, small little demons and stuff, and she doesn't really get a lot of action with the big demons. Every now and then she does, but she saw that I guess secret apprentice or whatever, and she looked at his neck. She was like, "Oh, hold up, I know who you is."
Like, oh yeah, your tag was hanging out.
And she knew. She was like,
anyway, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and grab a knife. I'll be back.
She laid in wait, and then when she got the upper hand with the face slice, when he goes to attack her, she allows him to attack, which is very smart, and then moves for the trip well, it's sort of an assisted trip. It's kind of like a forced trip because you kind of let them run into it, but you push them on the back. But I was like, Sister Andrea can move a little bit. So, I was like, okay, I see you, girl. I see you.
See, at risk
Made
of
me
sounding
proud.
like at risk of sounding like I'm mocking something. No, you got it twisted, son. Don't get it twisted. That wasn't Sister Andrea. That was God.
Oh, the Lord came in with the divine moves. Man, I was happy. The only thing that I wasn't happy about, cause I'm glad you found the demon. I'm glad you have moves, but unfortunately, she didn't finish the job.
Well, no, we needed the rest of the episode because that's the thing about Sister Andrea and Evil is like the Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
If you actually knew what he was capable of, you would ask why the rest of the team was there.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's like, yeah, okay, I see why we leave him in the watchtower because if he's there, I mean, being able to like, connect everyone's mind and stuff and do it like it that's no different than being able to just shut the bad guys' minds down. Like
Yeah.
you can just shut them up and be like, all right, everybody's asleep. So
Yeah.
just put handcuffs on them and take them to jail.
Yeah. No action, no adventure, no
Yeah,
nothing.
it's not as fun.
See, I mean, on the religious aspect, there is a character in DC Comics by the name of the Spectre, who is part of the Justice Society, kinda. Okay, because the Spectre is a human host that gives guidance and discernment to God's wrath. I will repeat that.
It is pretty deep, which is why he's usually depicted in like a very weird way because I mean I guess that's
I know the green speedos just don't really hit, but he is God's wrath. We're talking Old Testament God and all the cool stuff that was coming down from there. Pillars of salt, sulfur falling from the sky, 40-day floods, and he's a superhero. Except, well, back when I was reading the Justice Society back in the 90s, they made it very clear we don't call him because when he comes, he cleans house on everybody. He goes, you're a sinner, done. You're a sinner, done. Flash, you were checking out somebody else last week and you're married. That makes you a sinner, done. Over there, you're done. Wildcat, you're lying to your friends, done. You Green Lantern, you're doing it, done. He just comes in and he is the nuclear option. And that is Sister Andrea.
Yeah, I mean, from finding the demons, from getting the relic back to helping David 2 times. David still, I don't get why he is. I mean, I guess he's being pulled in a lot of different directions, but I mean, at least he does heed her, her wisdom from time to time. He hasn't been a confession, but from her taking the sin off of him twice, things of that nature, she shined this whole episode.
Yeah.
Like, shouts out to Sister Andrea. Like, that, man, I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her. Like,
especially since she's being sent to the convent where she can't talk.
Yeah, man. Whew, but
at least she'll have a corner office with a glass ceiling.
So, I guess I'll toss this to you because I really want to talk about the entity because we gained some ground on the entity in this episode, some ground that I wish we would have gained a long time ago. I'll get into that later, but we got into the entity with the I guess the updated knowledge that we have now. How do you feel about David, Leland, their conversation, the entity that I can't remember the new guy's name, but the test and all that stuff? How are you feeling on those things?
So real talk, This was the most masterful, we're not that different, you and I conversation that I have seen on television. Like, no cap. Now, number one, it had me from the beginning because I'm like, what is David looking at? Where is he at? Where is this?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is some kind of wacky, cheesy, but kind of upbeat and fun music. I bet this is Leland's house. And sure enough, Leland walks in. And the part that got me was David reminding us that you do not mess with a priest physically. Because what a lot of people, what they know about the Catholic Church is that a priest has to take a vow of celibacy. But what they don't know about the Catholic Church is that when a priest holds to those vows, they do 2 to 3 main things to fill that void. And those 2 to 3 things tend to be something like movies or pop culture, but more likely it is drink and box. You know, I think this
he gave him that gut shot.
Oh, bruh.
And the way he just looked at him like, so yeah, how's it going? But yeah, the secret nature of the new guy showing up, the weird test, and then what is it? Then Leland knowing about all these things, and his name is Giovanni. That's his name. So I guess Leland knowing about all these things, was very telling. It's like, oh, so apparently you, like he said, I was, doing remote viewing, I was doing this, I was doing that, and then he was like, are all your handlers disappearing? I was like, oh boy. I was like, so what is this invitation to Rome really an invitation to Rome, or is this an invitation to Rome so that they can publicly say, oh yeah, he went to Rome, and then he disappeared?
Yes is the answer,
because it seemed like what they're doing is being like, oh yeah, he went to Rome. Where is he? Oh, he's in Rome. Oh, wait, he's in the Vatican. Well, can he come out? Nah, Vatican work is very, very important. So I hate to say this, but this might be a situation of Leland being right just a little bit.
He's right a little more than a little bit is the thing, because his self-admission has a very interesting thing. Okay. It is super plausible. When he was like, yeah, no, I saw the hypocrisy and I said, wait a minute, this doesn't make no sense. This is all stupid. And I have free will. I am free to do what pleasures me. You chose evil. I chose me. And why not burn everything down? I do not care. And I'm going, all right, this is why he's so dangerous. This right here is so dangerous because they essentially turned him from a mustache twirling villain into the Joker.
Yeah.
Because I don't care who wins. I'm just here to watch it all burn.
Yeah, and that's the very dangerous part about him. But I want to get into free will later because we kind of circle around that a couple times in this. Which I thought was interesting because we haven't really touched on it that much during the show. Yeah. Which is something that I think we should have. Because that's something that a lot of people forget when it comes to things of this nature, like shows like this. But Leland breaking down what seems to be his path in the entity. Ooh, what I'm assuming is that, like Father Dominic said, Leland was really, really good or whatever. So maybe Leland was like the one, but he was too much of the one. So they wanted to take care of him, if you will. And Leland probably found out and bounced.
You know what I'm hearing right now?
What?
It sounds a lot like you are comparing Luke Cage to Luke Skywalker.
Oh man, it seems kind of, because I mean Leland, when I saw the episode with Father Dominic, I was like, so Leland is Vader? I was like, because that's sort of what it seems like.
Yeah.
I was like, was he like really, really good? And then they were like, he's a little too good, and we can't trust him with all this power. But then they're doing all this stuff with David, which makes it seem like they don't trust him either.
Well, dealing with security on that level, guess what? Nobody's trusted ever.
Good point.
And that was at the heart of Andrea's warning to David.
Mm-hmm.
Because she made it very clear, like, nah, you need to go to confession, because especially after dealing with the entity. Like, they're going to have you doing some messed up stuff, and I won't be there to clean you off. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, ooh. So it seems like everybody that's involved in the church part or in the supernatural part of the plot knows a little bit more than David does about what he's about to step into.
Yeah.
And
it's probably a little darker than he thinks.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing that I thought was super masterfully done was Leland says, oh no, a part of me is inside you. That's the part of me that makes you want to do some really messed up stuff, dude. And part of you's inside me, and
that's why he was crying with the dogs.
That's exactly it.
That was funny.
What he said to David,
no, I gotta get mean again.
Yeah. What he said to David came off as, yes, and now I'm part of you. Mwahaha. But then they show us, the audience, that no, really, he's telling the truth. Like, yeah, David is in there. He's watching those dogs hug, and I'm not gonna lie, I got misty, and I'm mad enough to admit that.
Well, I mean, maybe the entity also knows that, so they knew after they had Leland jump into and remote view into all these evil people, that like, okay, he's made his limit, he's probably evil now, so we need to get rid of him. And that's something that they probably know that remote viewing people don't know until it's too late. Mm-hmm. And too late meaning when they go to dispose of them. But the entity needs remote viewers to be able to accomplish their missions, because don't get me wrong, there is some good work being done. David has saved people, but they never gave David the information.
Exactly.
And then the choice. They made it seem like, oh, you're so great. You're helping people out. This is so awesome, man. It's such a good thing that you're doing this. They never sat there and said, hey, you're going to be doing this and we need you to do it. And it's very important that you do it. We don't have many people that can. But when you do this, there will be psychological effects. Mm-hmm. So after each remote view, we need you to go to such and such center, the entity debriefing center or whatever, to spiritualize you clean or something, whatever. But they don't do that. They just keep forcing these guys into the muck. And what I mean by the muck, I mean the muck of like the psychosis, the emotionality, all of that stuff. And they know that it's wearing on these men, but these men don't know, or men or women don't know. And they have no idea. So then when they come back from the battlefield, and then, the entity is like, all right, yeah, they're evil now. Time to go in and going to cancel him. And then, of course, someone like Leland's like, whoa, 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 why is there plastic on the floor?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've done everything you told me to do.
Yeah.
So why am I the bad guy? So I can see that happening to Leland and being like, yeah, I'm out. But the question does, remain. So why didn't you just leave? Why did you turn evil? I think he turned evil because all of that stuff inside of him, all those seeds that were left, all those evil seeds that were left in him, they pushed him to a certain degree, or they influenced him to a certain degree. Because where someone might just be like, man, I'm out. I'm not doing this stupid stuff no more. He's like, not only am I out, but you know what? I want a little revenge, or I want to have some fun of my own. Quote, fun. Notice fun never has anything to do with, you know what? That's a whole nother show. Notice when the world says the word fun or free, beware. I'm gonna just say that. I want to be free. Just be aware. Now, I know y'all probably gonna say, oh, NERDSoul, Michael, that's the old style. You too traditional. You just stuck up and you. I'm just telling you. That freedom. Oh, that freedom and that fun. Oh, about 2-3 years later, you're gonna be sitting around looking back like, how did I get here?
All right, so
but
I'm gonna throw something out there.
I think Leland might have a leg to stand on. I think they tried to cancel him when Leland's like, kind of like David said, I've done everything the Vatican asked for me and I haven't even flinched. So I mean, maybe Leland kind of has a leg to stand on.
So there is an old saying in the con man game, which is every lie is made up of 80% truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to.
In yo circles, this is why the devil knows the Bible better than anyone else. I'll repeat that. In your guys' circles, you will never meet someone who knows the Bible better than the devil himself. You can quote every passage, every word, knows it. Because him being the father of lies is mostly telling the truth. And that's what makes lies the most believable.
Yep.
It's just like, I can't believe I'm quoting Anthony Mackie. It's like the man said in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's always that last part.
Yeah. Because you have to be like, you have to leave the kind of deniability in there with the truth. Because you can say, oh, well, I did go to my friend's house, which is true. But you didn't add on the fact that you and your friend were going somewhere you didn't let me know you were going. Oh, me and my friend are going to the mall. You did go to the mall. But after the mall, you went somewhere else that you never told me you were going to.
Oh, we went to the mall. I never said I'd stay at the mall.
Yeah, so those are, but you need that because when people ask, oh yeah, I saw him at the mall yesterday. So
right.
You need that deniability in there. You need that baked in there. But yeah, you're right. Which is why people should tell you, you need to not only go to the service, but read the word for yourself. Read the word for yourself. If you are a believer, if you claim to be a believer, whatever it is, whether it's Quran or whatever, read it for yourself. So when people go off, be like, oh, well, God said this. Be like, oh, yeah, he said that to this group of people because they were doing this.
Yeah, at this time in this context. But yeah, so what I gotta say is David gave me my favorite scene.
All right.
Because, Leland walks into his apartment, he's singing along, and then blam. So, why'd you leave the entity? I'm like, whoa, Whoa, we got crime lord Michael Colton coming back there.
Yeah, this I was like, okay, okay. And then we find out he's sort of undercover. I'm like, all right, okay, all right, David, okay, all right, I see you. He's doing, but I think there's a part of him that's like, I kind of want to know, not because I want to be evil, but because I'm starting to mistrust these guys a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So David is kind of going on that Martin Luther offensive. Like, something ain't right here right now. So I need some information gathering so that I can plan my next move.
Yeah, because I don't want to be evil, but I don't want to have a heart attack like Mr. LeConte.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone, since y'all are listening to this, I did huge air quotes on that.
A heart attack.
Heart attack. I was like, and then Father Dominic is unavailable. Oh, I'm sure he is.
Hey, you know what?
He's real unavailable right now.
I make it very clear, a lot of people die of lead poisoning.
Oh, boy.
Because pieces of lead flying at supersonic speeds are very toxic to the body.
Like, boy, do not. And you know what? Going off of the entity thing, which because we had this with Mr. LeConte and we get it with Father Ignacious. I've kind of said this in a conversation with some other people before. The problem with the church is because it's filled with people that ain't supposed to be there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. It's filled with people. Yeah. That is the problem. Well, yeah.
You got Father Ignacious, just like Mr. LeConte. LeConte was like, yeah, I don't believe in this stuff, but I believe that these are bad people, so they got to go. Like, you have Father Ignatius numerals of times. Oh, the numerals of times. I know it's not a real word, but it's a reference from an episode of Divorce Court. Look, my wife and I watch. It's just, look, it's hilarious. All right, sidebar. This lady, she was like, he has cheated on me numerals of times. I was like, oh, numerals? I was like, okay, all right. But anyway, back to this.
Yeah, you could say a myriad of, but that's that's my neural spice coming up.
Oh man, but the Father Ignatius part of it, I forgot the father that was before him, Mr. LeConte. There's so many people in the church that do not, even the council that came to like throw out Sister Andrea.
Oh, the archdiocese, yeah.
Yeah, nobody even believes in the supernatural, and so why? And like Father Ignatius said, well, my family wanted a priest in the family. So I'm here. No, that's not why. You are supposed to be here because you feel you were called by God to serve in some way. Why? Like, that's one of the hugest. Wow, that is one of the hugest problems with the church is that y'all just here because someone said y'all supposed to be here, or y'all felt like it's cool, or it's a money hustle, or whatever it is.
Hold up, I'm marking down the date and time of this recording because you and I actually agree on something involving the church. This is fascinating.
Well, no, I've told you how I feel about the church before a ton of times.
Yeah, I'm just making a joke, man.
Oh, I was like, hold on, we talked about this before. I was like this, man. My parents wanted a priest, so I'm here. I'm like, no, that is not why you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like, what? But over and over again, we've seen tons of people here that don't believe. They're just here. And then you wonder why people aren't coming to church, because they come to church and see people that don't believe, or see people acting in ways that non-believers act. And what do you expect?
And not even in the cool way of, okay, this is the way non-believers act, but they're trying to do something different,
Yeah.
I don't believe as much as I want people to believe, but I'm working on it myself.
Yeah.
Again, like David.
Good point. Yeah. Because David definitely had his issues. David is a good example of, if someone has some faith, even if you continue to make incredibly bad decisions, the Lord will use you for the glory of his kingdom. But you still, David made some horrible decisions. Not mistakes, decisions.
Okay.
But I was thinking like, wow, so this is yet another person that doesn't believe. Like, y'all know y'all could have did other things. Like, you could have been, I don't know, a bank teller, or I don't know, a basketball coach or something. Just why are you here? But I digress.
Well, all in all, though, this episode did a decent amount. You know, this episode did a really, really, really decent amount of giving us insight into all of the characters directly.
Yeah.
You know, except Kristen, which we really didn't need because 90% of the show is insight into
Kristen.
her.
Yeah.
You know,
it's mostly Kristen all the time, so we don't really need her in any insight for her.
Right.
I will say on the side of Ben, tell your sister what's up. Just tell your sister what's going on. Just tell her, man.
So about Ben the Magnificent, he's in a weird spot, and I was talking to my best friend about this show because he's an amazing writer, and he's also very, 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 very critical about a lot of things. And so we talk about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff about it, but what I didn't like about it," I'm like, "Oh, here we go."
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, yeah. And given that we only have 5 episodes left, like, I want a spinoff, and I want a prequel with Sister Andrea in action before 1977. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really big on stuff, but I'd like a spinoff show about Ben's sister. And I'm like, this is why I talk to you. Because, yeah, a spinoff about Ben's sister and the weird alliance of unorthodox scientists. I'm like, go on.
Yeah, because I think if he opened up to his sister, she would understand, or at least be open to hearing what he's going through. She doesn't seem like the type to shut him off. I don't know why. Ben, you don't have to do this. You don't have to go through this on your own.
Well, it's for Ben, it's very cultural as well. You know.
Yeah. But his sister's in that culture. You know what I'm saying?
But his sister is more Americanized than he is. Although she still holds to some sort of the traditions. But she's also his older sister. So she's got a little more wisdom than he does. And I'm bringing this up because it is a very important dichotomy between the two. His sister is wise and he is smart. And the difference the difference between those things is smart processes information, where wisdom applies knowledge.
Okay, I see where you're going.
I will say that again for the people in the back.
I see where you're going.
Intelligence processes information, where wisdom applies knowledge.
It just, I don't know. I love Ben, and I want him to shine. And I see him, he's dealing with this on his own over and over, and I'm just thinking, you don't have to do this by yourself. Like, you don't have to be alone. It's not necessary for you to be on your own. But what do I know? What do I know?
Yeah. So, now the interesting thing for me on this particular episode is In all honesty, I barely remember the case.
Yeah. So
I was so caught up in the deconsecration of the church. And can we talk about that for a minute?
yes, let's go in and talk about the deconsecration, which look when look, I'm gonna keep it real. When they move you out, they move you out because they were like, he was like, all right, y'all, we deconsecrated, and like y'all gonna be out. Yo, they got Congo Run coming in like immediately. I'm like, Dad, can I like pack up? They was like, all right, peace.
They said you got to be packed up by the time the deconsecration happens. It's like, you knew that we were closing this down 3 weeks ago. You should have been packing then, is essentially where they were coming from. But no, the act of deconsecration, as soon as they said the spell and all the sins just started climbing down the wall.
it was like they couldn't wait.
It was literally like all right, for those of y'all that know some geography or have lived in or do live in LA, I don't live too far from the Forum. And when you go to the Forum, I don't know what they call it now, the Kia, the Great Western, I don't know. It's where the Lakers used to play. And
it's still the Forum, right? I thought it was still the Forum.
It's the Forum now, but it's gone into it has so many names. And I can make allusions to Satan and the Forum because the street that leads to the Forum is the exact analogy that I'm making, because you go to the Forum a day before anybody plays and you just see people it's a homeless encampment. It is a homeless encampment for days before something comes out. And that's literally what it was. Like, it would have been kind of cool to see Sister Andrea looking outside the building right before deconsecration day, just to see a big miasma of all of these ghosts coming in, waiting to get their reps in on the cross, and waiting to get a couple of other things. I thought
he's doing pull-ups
in the pews.
Like, he's staying in shape, I guess.
Vanity, bro.
Yeah, got to.
They definitely have they definitely had representations of the seven deadlies there, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Yeah, this is really good.
I mean, it didn't take what, 5 minutes? I mean, they were in there. They knew they were in there quick, and it was on from the moment, especially when they didn't know where the relic was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, the sheer amount of like demons just all over the place.
Oh yeah,
I thought that it might be like maybe slowly creeping in. Nah, it was like New Year's up in there. They was counting down.
It's the floodgate. The show is very much showing that the church is the thin white line.
So that I did like that scene. I just the look on Sister Andrea's face. Then of course them not having the relic, and the response to it was just like, all right, and that surprised me, but okay. He was just like, well, hey, happens, and just I'm like, whoa, I thought this was supposed to be like a huge deal. What do you mean, just all right? he said it happens. I'm like, what do you mean it happens? Are there other holy relics that are gone? Like,
yes.
Shouldn't y'all be putting like tags on these things? Like, what is going on? Like, you can't just have these things going missing. If you believe in the power of them, you can't just be like. But of course, this is probably yet another person that's just like, hey man, look, I'm here because hey, I get paid, and look, it's an easy gig or whatever. And I pray a couple times and I'm out. Because it's a huge deal that there's a missing relic.
How many teachers
I
have
mean,
you
I
had
want y'all to
over the
treat a
course of?
lost relic the way Indiana Jones does. All right, that's what.
Yeah, but how many teachers have you had over the course of your academic career that reminded you that they get paid whether you learn or not?
Yeah, I've had a few.
How many doctors don't actually listen to the patients because they're not really there for care?
Like they don't listen to the patient because they're like, I know better than you do. It's like, no, I'm me. All right,
Yeah,
this is happening to me. That's why I came here. You didn't bring me here. I came here because I'm feeling this.
yeah. So I
So stop
mean,
telling me that I'm not feeling this. 'Cause I'm definitely feeling it.
yeah. So the lack of passion, the lack of commitment. Um, One of the things that this episode put in stark relief,
Mhm.
okay, is the difference between a calling and a job.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Because being a nun is Andrea's calling. And David is finding that he has a calling. Okay. Ignacious has a job.
Yeah, he got a job.
You know, the archdiocese, they have careers.
True. Yeah.
You know,
No, who's going to get rid of the archdiocese? Like, who's getting fired up there?
no
Like,
one.
the only people there that get fired, you probably have to do something massive to get fired at that level.
Okay, this is my tinfoil hat time. Ready?
Go ahead.
I think the archdiocese is controlled by the 60.
Ooh,
I really do.
that would be. You know what? That would be a slam dunk for this show, especially since we know that I can't remember the name of the father that came in and said, "Well, the Vatican didn't get rid of you; the archdiocese did." It's like,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh, you
aren't
mean the
y'all
guy
the
from
same?
Brooklyn?
Aren't
Because
you
if the
the
accent
same
sounds
guy?
familiar, yeah. Well, if the accent sounds familiar, it's because I'm from Brooklyn. Yeah, I know. 5 miles
We
from here.
we know. Yeah, we got it. We remember it. We get it.
Yeah,
But
you know.
that was interesting because I'm like, you mean you? That's like somebody being like, oh, you guys at XYZ company fired me. It's like, we didn't fire you. Our parent company fired you. Oh, okay. All right, fine. Oh, if you want to split that hair, cool. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't fire you. My dad fired you. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but I mean, since y'all work together and y'all are, hand in hand, I guess you can kind of go in and just take that one for me, can't you?
Yeah.
Like, so
And-
that would be interesting for the whole, I guess you could say, infiltration
Yeah.
of the Vatican Church,
Yeah.
by the 60.
My first theory that had me wrapped up in tinfoil like Ben trying to avoid a gin was that the entity is just a different name for the 60.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, narratively that would be dumb. But
you could probably work that out in a you probably work it out in a Hail Hydra type of way.
yeah. And see, there it is. There thou sayest. Yeah, it could be out there in a Hail Hydra kind of way. Because just the way that everyone is hush hush, everyone is secretive, nobody trusts nobody. I'm like, if I was part of any kind of criminal or spiritual conspiracy, the very first thing I would do would be to establish a counter thing. Make sure that, say, I don't know, make sure that I'm hired by the organization set to destroy my company, and make sure that I'm assigned to the case to find the leader of the underground movement that I started.
Yeah, because
just so I can be like, ooh, I almost got him, but he got away.
I mean, it makes sense to control both sides of the argument.
Yeah. But that's just me being all silly and evil. So that's a what show are we talking about again? Oh yeah. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, that's kind of a tinfoil hat type thing, but I can see the hand of the 60 and the whole archdiocese thing because of what is the term I'm looking for? The inevitability of everything being canceled.
Okay.
Because of the black bluff, if you will.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they already made up their mind. I mean, you can think that they will change their mind if you present a case, but no, it doesn't matter what case you present. The verdict is already in. They're just waiting for a witness to behead. If you know, you know. And I'm like, why would they do that? And that's, I'm like, gee, that would actually make all the sense when you think about it. But again, that's just me.
That could be devastating if we find that out. But with that tinfoil hat session, you know what I'm saying? Tinfoiling it up. We do have a case. And the case kind of coincides with what Ben's going through. But the whole part about the Stephen Hawking kind of, I guess, correlation, and then like the 32C joke or a statement, like, wow. And the question of, does genius give you immunity? In Western society, it does, but at least for a little while.
Only if you're a white guy.
Until a whole lot of people are mad at you. But for the most part, yeah, people, you see people treat their assistants, any genius or any like greatness, people let it slide.
Yeah.
People, they let it slide. Look at how people especially since you're in LA, look at how people that are in the entertainment industry treat anyone who is perceived to be beneath them.
I don't even have to go to the entertainment industry. I just got to go to Jack in the Box, bruh.
But it's and we let it slide. I mean, there's tons of cases. I mean, of course, she brings up Epstein Island, but yeah, do you think that it was some super CIA secret what Epstein was doing or what Harvey Weinstein was doing? Any of these dudes? What's the dude from CBS or any of that stuff? Any of this stuff? Any of these guys, no matter who it is, and women too. We found there was some women grooming at the the Cannes Film Festival. Some actresses was grooming kids that was like 13 or something.
The term is open secret.
So this idea that, yeah, you can kind of do what you want. And I guess Kristen was not feeling that, because when you said 32C, I was like, what? And I was like, oh snap, word? I was like, that's pretty bold.
I was halfway there. But again, quick quiz. What is my opinion for the best horror movie of all time?
Omen. Omen?
Close.
What?
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, close. All right. I'll give you a C+ for that one.
Thank you very much.
And one of the things that they established with possession is an erratic change of behavior.
Yeah. True.
So it's like 36C went into my head like, your mother, trying to keep this clean out of respect for Lady Lisa, because I would like, to see you again one day.
Man, that change in behavior was extremely sudden.
Yeah, it was. And the thing was, I liked the doctor. I liked him a lot, in the sense of oh yes, they are there from the church on Thursdays is when I worship Satan. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, I was really digging that part. But when he said what he said to Kristen, again, when I tell people about this show, one of the things I tell them is every episode has one of three outcomes. It's scientific, it's supernatural, or it is supernatural in origin and we scientifically see how it manifests.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are they possessed? Yes. And this is what it looks like. Versus, no, they're not possessed. Possessed people float above their bed. Like my girlfriend, she sleeps above the covers. 5 feet above the covers,
Oh man, that's a good point with this show in general and with this case, because we get into the gold ions and how he was, how he, meaning Ben, was, shot in the,
in the head, in the brain,
in the accelerator accident, and then of course now this case deals with a man that has a chip in his brain and he's drinking his gold latte, and it's a very stark reminder of the quote communication device, because since it is a communication device, it's not just one way. It's a very stark reminder that, changing those things about your brain, can invite extra problems. And I mean, even he says, yeah, it's killing me. Yeah, I know it will, but this makes my brain supercharged. And then he said the magic word, which I'm surprised Ben didn't cue in on, but I mean, he don't be caring. Ben got other things to do. But he said they call it demon mode. I was like, and
I'm like, oh, he's overclocking his brain. Isn't that cute?
I was like, I was like, and scene. Demon mode. All right. Call Sister Andrea. Let's get it going. It's like, we need to look at his neck too, just in case. Or look at that incision. What did they put in there? Is it just a communication device? What else is it? And who made this microchip? Where they come from? Who are these people? Where did they get it sourced? Like, come on, Ben.
Well, the part that
but
I
they
liked,
also did take everything out of the office. So they like, look, y'all fired. Y'all only got one more case.
So the thing that I really liked, and I mean really liked, was, okay, David goes to Andrea for counsel. And then she's like, yeah, all right, well, I got to finish packing. And he's like, hold on a minute. Let me do with this case what I should have been doing with most of the other cases, but we wouldn't have a show. Which is, I'm going to ask you some questions and bring in my demon detecting nun friend.
Thank you. I mean, unfortunately it's the penultimate episode, but her coming through really came in handy in this situation. Even though, I mean, she didn't get rid of the guy, but I mean, I know, look, we gotta keep threats around.
And I'm glad they did it at least once, because I really dug that she was like, oh yeah, no, I gotta go. And I like that it actually showed a fault in her. That actually made me smile. The fault being, she wasn't subtle. She wasn't cool. She was too subtle, in the sense of, okay, yeah, she found the demon that has all this other stuff. And instead of going, okay, well, blah, blah, blah. David, a word? She's like, okay, I'll be right back. And she's like, yep, nope, gotta go to a shank. I'm just kind of sitting up going, all right, hold up.
Knife quick.
You know? And yeah, and I'm just kind of like, ooh, bad call, Andrea. But you know what? We finally have her doing something that wasn't the smartest guy in the room thing, which was good. That was very good.
Especially since this case is basically just them needing us to rubber stamp this guy for them.
Mm-hmm.
But
and it's like, no, the guy is fine, but yeah, his assistant.
Yeah, he's evil. But I'll throw it over to you because we're at time, so I'm gonna throw it to you for final thoughts, and I guess a prediction on the finale because we only got one episode left. So you know.
Oh man, you got to put me on the spot like this. All right. So final thoughts. This episode was very good, in the sense of we've kind of been waiting for it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we got it close to the end, and I'm very happy we didn't get it before, because it would change the whole dynamic of the show. So I'm glad they did what they did in the way that they did it. I'm very happy about that. Now, prediction for the finale. In truth, all right, so I've been thinking about what the finale might be, and it has been messing up my brain. All right. And I mean, in a Toni Braxton way, like Toni Braxton listening to another sad love song. It's been racking my brain. All right. Yes, I'm that old. Anyway. And I'm not sure how I think the finale is going to be, because there's a few ways they can go with it. They can be like, all right, we're getting separated, and then something can stop them from being put on their next assignments. And as we start to work out the plots, number one, I can definitely say it's going to revolve around Kristen. I know that.
Yeah,
because she barely got any screen time in this episode. So that's number one. And I think it's gonna be one final confrontation with Leland, and then Kristen gets to see the evil that's coming to New York for herself. And this is all going to take place before David has to leave for the Vatican. Because if there's only 4 episodes left, we have to meet what Blake Snyder calls the all is lost moment.
That's because this is it. This Thursday, that's the last episode. We will not. That's it, unless something happens where it comes back 5 years from now or something like that. Like,
aren't we supposed to get the last 4, or are these the last 4?
These are the last 4.
Oh, so this is supposed to be the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next episode is the very last one.
Unless it gets picked up by Netflix.
Yeah.
Hear that, Netflix or Hulu?
Yeah, because when it went to the new titles of Fear the Future, Fear the Other, Fear the Unholy.
Those are the last 4. Okay.
Yeah, and the next one is Fear the End.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. This is it. So, I see where you're coming from on the Kristen thing, because she didn't really do much in this episode. Yeah, she was definitely in the background on this one.
So on this one, I definitely see for the finale of the episode, this is going to be the big confrontation with the evil that comes on, and I honestly think they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger to a new show.
Okay.
I truly believe that, because there's so many unresolved things.
You ain't never lied on that.
There's so many unresolved things, so many unresolved story arcs, so many new characters that are coming in, that I think evil is ending. But let's just call it The Crew. Season 1 is coming up. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
or the Vatican Chronicles, or Michael Coulter needs to stay working is coming next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's way too many threads left. But I won't cut. You go ahead.
Yeah. So that's where I think this show is going to end off. I think this show is really going to end off as and a beginning to a spin-off show that might continue the story under a different title, kind of like how we had Narcos and then Narcos Mexico.
Okay.
Because we have to change the name to re-up the contract so that we don't have to pay the people involved a whole lot more.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm cynical. I know.
Wow. Of course.
I am really cynical. But that's where I'm coming from. And if you guys want to hear a few more reasons that I'm cynical but hopeful, tune in to twitch.tv/BID_P. And the Solar Gray YouTube channel. Pop in, check out some of the live streams, check out some of the other stuff. I've been really contemplating some more short form stuff since I've been working like a crazy person for the past couple of months and haven't had much time to upload. So yeah, come check me out there, and you can always drop me a line on Deckers on the Book on Facebook.
Okay. For me, final thoughts. I liked this episode, but it wasn't the penultimate episode I thought we were going to get. But I don't know when they found out this would be the last 4 episodes, because the way this started was basically like a 5th season, because the title card was different and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't know I don't know how long they knew this was the last 4 episodes before they started shooting these 4 episodes. But I didn't feel like the rise to like a zenith or something that I would normally expect from a penultimate episode. But the situation between the entity, Leland, and David did seem like penultimate information. So that's where I'm kind of split on it. Because the case and stuff seem like, oh, okay, this is cool, this is good information, but it doesn't seem like we're racing to the end. But the scenes with Leland and David definitely did. My prediction for, I think this show is going to end in a and the beat goes on kind of way. I think that's how this show is going to end. Kind of like the end of The Wire, where it's like, and the streets is the streets. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, the game don't stop kind of thing. Because, like I said, we haven't put a dent in the 60. Leland doesn't truly seem scared of us. The huge guy that came to court is what Sister Andrea was talking about, coming to New York, and guess what? He's here. So it doesn't seem like we're winning. It doesn't even seem like it's going to be maybe an even exchange. It just seems like maybe it just keeps going on and we didn't really get any big wins. But maybe we'll have like a longer episode. Maybe this will be a double episode or something like that, where it's like, twice the length or something. I don't know. Hopefully I'd be down for that, but I don't know if they don't really do that anymore. That's something they used to do on network television a lot, where the finale would be 2 hours instead of 1 hour. But they don't really do that anymore for shows. They should, but they don't. So
you think this is going to be more of a Wire ending?
Yeah, kind of like, and they kept fighting evil, and evil just no real finality for any, like, nothing for Leland. Maybe they get Leland, but the other guy kind of steps into, brings another person into his place, and we just kind of keep going. Because I really thought, or like RSM Fertility, that's another, like, I feel like we haven't hit them hard enough to really have an ending where it seems like the good guys at least kind of win.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't know what's going on with the girls. I mean, the demon did make a comment about the baby getting baptized. But the Lexus, she's still walking around with a tail. I mean,
and fangs.
Nobody know.
And fangs. Don't forget the fangs.
Oh yeah, and fangs. She bit a lady's finger off. So I don't know, man. I just don't feel like our good guys are gonna win, or at least I don't even think they're gonna look like they win. I think this might just be like, hey guys, and it's Tuesday kind of thing. Except everybody's going separate ways because now Sister Andrea, she's going to the silent place with at least there's that young girl there, the cool girl that be cleaning up the barrels.
Oh yeah, or Sister Andrea's new apprentice.
Yeah. So you got her. But I mean, besides that, you don't really have anything going on there. Father Ignacious, he's just out.
Which is inconceivable. All right, I had to say it at least once. If you know, you know. All right.
So yeah, that's my prediction. I think we're just gonna end on kind of a sort of a bad guys kind of win, but the good guys definitely don't win ending. But of course, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz. Until the next time that you have to get the sin off of someone else for the betterment of their humanity, it's just us telling you, peace.
Later, guys.